You're lying in bed, it's 2 in the morning, and your brain won't shut up. It replays that awkward thing you said 3 years ago. It worries about tomorrow's meeting. It imagines worst-case scenarios that will probably never happen. You tell yourself to stop thinking, but telling your brain to stop thinking is like telling your heart to stop beating. It doesn't work. If you've ever felt trapped in your own head, stuck in an endless loop of thinking, there's a neuroscience explanation for why this happens. And more importantly, there's a way out. Deep inside your brain, there's a network of regions that activates when you're not focused on anything specific. Scientists call it the default mode network, or DMN. Think of it as your brain's screensaver. When you're not actively doing something, not reading, not working, not solving a problem, the DMN switches on automatically. And what does this screensaver do? It thinks about you, your past, your future, your relationships, your identity. It's the part of your brain that creates your inner narrative. In small doses, this is incredibly useful. It helps you plan ahead, learn from the past, and understand other people's perspectives. It's the foundation of human creativity and empathy. But here's the problem. For many of us, the DMN doesn't just run quietly in the background. It takes over. It becomes loud, repetitive, and obsessive. And that's what overthinking is. It's not a character flaw. It's not weakness. It's your default mode network stuck in overdrive. In 2001, a neuroscientist named Marcus Raichle made a groundbreaking discovery. He noticed that certain brain regions were more active when people were doing nothing than when they were focused on a task. This was shocking. Scientists had always assumed the brain was most active when concentrating. But Raichle found that daydreaming uses just as much energy, sometimes more. He named this the default mode network. And since then, hundreds of studies have shown that an overactive DMN is linked to anxiety, depression, and chronic overthinking. A study from Harvard found that people spend nearly 47% of their waking hours lost in thought. Not present, not focused, just mind-wandering. And here's the kicker. The same study found that mind-wandering almost always made people less happy, regardless of what they were doing. So, what exactly happens inside your brain when you overthink? Let me walk you through the loop. It starts with a trigger. Something happens, or doesn't happen, and your mind grabs onto it. A comment from a coworker, an unanswered text, a vague feeling that something is wrong. Then, the DMN takes that trigger and runs with it. It asks, what did they mean by that? Did I do something wrong? What if they're upset with me? Each question generates more questions. Each answer creates new doubts. And before you know it, that one small thought has become an avalanche. Your body responds too. Your heart beats faster. Your muscles tense. Cortisol, the stress hormone, floods your system. Your brain can't tell the difference between imagined threats and real ones. And the cruelest part? Overthinking feels productive. It feels like you're solving problems, but you're not. You're just rehearsing them. Research shows that rumination, going over the same thoughts repeatedly, doesn't lead to insights or solutions. It leads to paralysis. The more you think, the less you do. Overthinking comes in two main flavors. The first is rumination, replaying the past over and over. What I should have said, what I shouldn't have done. The second is worry, projecting into the future. What if I fail? What if something goes wrong? What if the worst happens? Both are powered by the same engine, your DMN, and both share the same illusion that by thinking more, you'll somehow feel safer, but you never do. So how do you quiet an overactive default mode network? The good news is that neuroscience gives us clear answers. Let me share 5 strategies that actually work. Strategy 1. Engage the task-positive network. Your brain has a seesaw system. When the default mode network is active, another network, the task-positive network, goes quiet. So the simplest way to quiet overthinking is to give your brain a focused task. something that demands your full attention. A puzzle, a musical instrument, a challenging conversation, even washing dishes mindfully. The key is that the task must be slightly challenging, easy enough that you can do it, hard enough that you can't zone out. That sweet spot is what psychologists call flow state. Strategy 2. Practice focused breathing. Here's a fascinating finding. Focused breathing is one of the fastest ways to deactivate the DMN. When you focus on counting breaths, in for 4, hold for 4, out for 6, you activate the prefrontal cortex. And the prefrontal cortex acts like a volume knob for the DMN. Just 5 minutes of focused breathing can measurably reduce DMN activity. That's it. 5 minutes to quiet the noise. Strategy 3. Move your body. Exercise isn't just good for your muscles. It's one of the most powerful DMN regulators we know of. When you walk, run, dance, or do yoga, your brain shifts resources away from the DMN toward motor control and body awareness. The mental chatter gets quieter because your brain is busy doing something real. Even a 10-minute walk can break an overthinking spiral. You don't need a gym membership. You just need to move. Strategy 4. Write it down. There's something almost magical about putting your thoughts on paper. When thoughts stay in your head, they loop endlessly because they have no resolution. But when you write them down, you externalize them. You give them a container, and your brain can let go. Try this tonight. Set a timer for 10 minutes. Write whatever comes to mind without filtering or judging. Just dump it all on the page. You'll be amazed how much lighter you feel. Strategy 5. Practice the noting technique. This comes from mindfulness meditation, and it's incredibly simple. When a thought appears, you simply label it. Worrying, planning, remembering, judging. You don't fight the thought. You just name it and let it pass. This works because naming a thought activates the prefrontal cortex, which dampens the emotional charge of the thought. Psychologists call this affect labeling. It turns overwhelming feelings into manageable observations. Here's what I want you to take away from this. Overthinking is not who you are. It's something your brain does. And anything your brain learned to do, it can learn to do differently. You don't have to win a war against your thoughts. You just have to learn to stop feeding them. Stop giving them the attention they demand, and redirect that energy toward the present moment. So tonight, when your brain starts its late-night monologue, try something different. Don't fight it. Just notice it, label it, breathe, and gently bring yourself back to now. Your mind will thank you.